Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for week 1 of the 2023 NRL Finals Series. Last week in the final round of the regular season I got 6 out of 8 correct tips. We've got 4 big finals games to get through in this video, so let's start off with the first one, which is kicking off on Friday night. And the first match is between Brisbane and Melbourne. This one is being played at Suncorp Stadium. Brisbane finished the regular season in 2nd place, Melbourne finished in 3rd place. These two sides played each other last week. It was basically two Queensland Cup sides against each other in some respects, and Melbourne came out on top in that one. And earlier in the season, Melbourne also won the other fixture between these two clubs. These two clubs have met 8 times in the finals. Brisbane's won twice, including the 2006 NRL Grand Final. Melbourne's won 6 times. The last time that these two sides met in the finals, just off the top of my head, were in 2017 in the preliminary final, and I think Melbourne won that 30 points to 0. I think this is going to be a very close, entertaining game. Are Brisbane going to regret resting all them players and missing out on the minor premiership, and therefore having to play against Melbourne once again, their ultimate bogey side? I don't think that there's too many hoodoos I can think of in rugby league where one team has the one over another team, quite like Melbourne does over Brisbane. And for that reason, I'm going to tip Melbourne to win this match. I'm going to go for Melbourne to win by 8 points over Brisbane in the first qualifying final. I just think that Melbourne will once again beat Brisbane, and then they'll get the week off, and then they'll have a home preliminary final there in Melbourne. And the second qualifying final and the first match on the Saturday is between Penrith and New Zealand. This one's being played at Penrith Stadium. Penrith finished as minor premiers this year. New Zealand finished in 4th place. These two sides met earlier in the year on the 6th of May, and Penrith beat New Zealand 18 points to 6. The time before that they met in August of 2022. Penrith won 46 points to 12. These two sides have met twice in the finals before this match. The first coming in 2003 when Penrith defeated New Zealand to reach the 2003 Grand Final, and the last one coming in 2018 where Penrith defeated New Zealand 27 points to 12. Coincidentally, that was New Zealand's last finals appearance before this game, and since 2011 when they last made the Grand Final, this is only the 2nd time that they've qualified for the finals. For this match, I think this is going to be another close game. I think it's going to be a 1-12 scoreline, but I can't go past Penrith with how they're playing this year. I think New Zealand will give them a really tough game, and maybe New Zealand might win this match, but just I think with my head and with my heart, I'm going to go for Penrith to win by 1-12 points, and they will get the week off, and then they'll have a home preliminary final. And the first of the elimination finals is also on Saturday. This one's between Cronulla Sutherland and Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Shark Park. Cronulla finished the year in 6th place. Sydney Roosters finished in 7th place. Now, believe it or not, Cronulla's been in the competition since 1967. This will be the 3rd time only that these two sides have met in the finals. The first time that these two sides met in the final series was 2002, where Sydney Roosters won that, and then in 2018 in the qualifying final, Sydney Roosters prevailed on that occasion as well. Both of these sides have had their critics this year, especially with Cronulla, but with the Sydney Roosters, and this is something that I've noticed a lot of people haven't been mentioning, is yes, they've qualified for the finals somehow, but if you look at their run home in order to qualify for the finals, they really haven't played anyone of note, to be perfectly honest with you. They beat Manly, who were out of contention. They beat Redcliffe, who the wheels have fallen off there. They beat an out of sorts Parramatta side, who were playing terrible. Then they beat the Wooden Spooners, the West Tigers, and then they finished off by beating their arch rivals South, who were also out of sorts as well. Before that, however, they played against Brisbane and Melbourne, and they were easily accounted for by both of those teams. So even though I give Eastern Suburbs a chance in this game, this is going to be their first real big test for a couple of weeks, because, as I said, they haven't really played anyone that's been in any kind of good form or has been quality, and Cronulla is going to be a bit of a step up from the likes of West Tigers or Parramatta or Redcliffe. For this match, I will go for Cronulla to win this game by 1 to 12 points. It might even be less. It could go down to golden point. We just don't know. I think this is going to be another really tight game, but I can see Cronulla win this game. I think, to be fair, Sydney Roosters could win this game, but I think even if they do win this game and they get to week 2, they won't progress any further than that. And the final match in this first week of the final series, this is also another elimination final. It's between Newcastle and Canberra. This one's being played at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. Now, with Newcastle, they've been in the competition since 1988, but this will be the first ever time that they'll play against Canberra in a finals game. This is also the first time that Newcastle have hosted a home final since 2006. And this will be only the 5th time since 2010 that Newcastle have qualified for the finals. With Newcastle, they're on a 9-game win streak at the moment, but one thing that a lot of people are not talking about is, just like Sydney Roosters, to get those 9 wins in a row, besides beating Melbourne and Cronulla, they really haven't played anyone else of note. They beat St George, they beat Redcliffe, they beat Canterbury twice, West Tigers. Yes, they did beat Melbourne and they also defeated Cronulla. Both of those matches were at Newcastle. But besides that, they've had a pretty easy run, I think, going into the finals. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform in week 1. As for Canberra, their form going into the finals has been shocking. In round 19, they were sat 3rd, and then they ended up losing 5 of the final 7 matches to finish in 8th place. So not good going from Canberra, and this is going to be a really tough ask from them to go up to Newcastle in front of a sellout crowd and try to defeat Newcastle, who are on a roll. So for this match, I'm going to go for Newcastle to win this game by 13 plus. I think they'll easily account for Canberra there in Newcastle in front of a sellout crowd, and they'll make it to week 2. So there are my tips for the week 1 of the final series. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know who you're tipping in week 1 of the finals, and place your thoughts about the games in the comment section below. Anyways, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch you all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.